Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. It's G here. I'm dressed like this because I'm going to take some photos in a little while, but let's talk about the things that are going on with Puff Daddy, and I don't even know what to call it at this point because it's been about a week and I've been waiting to see how this story was going to develop before I talk a little bit about it, but I think I can talk about this aspect of it for now. And that is how our homophobia, especially amongst the melanated, helps support the misogyny and the misogynoir that runs rapid within Blackness. Guys, subscribe to my channel and let's have a little chat.
Baby, I will separate glitter on the ground after the Pride Parade in New York City with the tweezers or my tongue before I let your opinion of me stress me out. Thank you so much. Goodbye.
All right, guys. Now, we all know that a few months back, Diddy got sued for whatever he did, right? And he paid out about $30 million to his victim. Now, about a week, maybe it's been 2 weeks ago, his compounds in LA, Miami were raided by the FBI, and apparently there has been so much there's so much incriminating evidence against Diddy, against people who have attended some of his parties, all of these things. They've talked about sex trafficking. They've talked about underage children being involved. They've talked about, lack of consent, drugs, blah, 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 blah. But the biggest story, the most focused on story is P Diddy. Is he gay? Was him and Meek Miles, were they hooking up? What was going on? Like, that has been like the entire focus. Not the girls, not the women who were potentially assaulted, not the people who are victims to whatever it is that P Diddy did, but whether or not he's gay, whether or not him and Meek Miles were clapping cheeks. That is what everybody has been focused on. And this homophobia and misogyny, like, they actually, seems like most people are so disturbed by the fact that P Diddy does not come off as though he's homosexual, as though he likes boys, because they can't find those feminine qualities in him that they want to degrade. This is one of the easiest ways to see how men hate femininity. Straight men don't hate anything more than femininity, even in women. The fact that so many people know that there have been victims, violence, sexual assault, underage children being taken advantage of, and all they can talk about is Meek Miles and P Diddy clapping cheeks. They hate the idea that he was doing feminine things and he was a hero to so many of them. His behavior was what they wanted to emulate. So many other men looked to Diddy to say, that's what I want to be like, and he was clapping cheeks with some man in the background. How could it be? I kind of love this for them. I love that men are having to grapple with this, but the fact that everybody can overlook all of the actual ugliest things that he's done and focus on his sexuality is sickening, and it shows how misogyny and the general dislike for the feminine is really so deeply embedded in our society, in our culture, because who's calling it out? Who's saying, why are we talking about Meek Mills? Who cares? Who cares if him and Diddy was doing it or not? If it was consensual, it was consensual. If it wasn't, I don't know. He's done it to more than just him. He's been sexually assaulting other men and apparently women, and people were in fear of him. He was doing things to people that he was using his power to hurt so many people. But again, is he gay? They don't see women in these situations as victims. Those women were after that man for his money. If they weren't after him for his money, then they wouldn't have been assaulted. So let's focus on his sexuality. Let's focus on whether or not he's been clapping cheeks with Meek Mills. They assume that when women are assaulted, it's the woman's fault. Now, in the Diddy situation, Diddy's also assaulting men. Whose fault is it? Men can't be victims of assault. Based on so many people's perceptions, they don't see women as assault victims. They're dressed inappropriately. They're there because they want money from this rich, powerful man. But what did the man do if he was also assaulted? How do they process this? Meek Mills couldn't have been assaulted by Diddy. They were clapping cheeks, but then it's also confusing because, well, how could their hero be bisexual? Men will say, we don't look up to, yes, they do. P Diddy is not an attractive man. He's managed to he's not very physically attractive. He's very average bodied. He's very he could be any dude. If he was walking down the street, it's just a dude you'd walk down the street if he wasn't P Diddy, right? Like, he just walked down the street. Nobody would look at him and be like, oh, that's a gorgeous man. He has to have all of these things. And that's why so many men identify with him, because he's average looking, but he managed to use his skills and he became so powerful, and rich, and have all of the things that so many men want to have in their lives, especially access to upper tier women and men. But what this homophobic attitude does is not allow men to be the victims of assault. And so it's either you were too weak, you were there for the same reason as the women were there, so now you are feminized. And we know the first way to insult any man is to say, you do that like a girl, you're just like a girl, aren't you? But since P Diddy was assaulting everybody, he was just in the mode. He was in the mode. When you're powerful, you're rich, you just assault people because that's what you can do. How the misogyny starts to work, right? It's in real time. How now Meek Mills has become this powerless little woman. They don't want to talk about the fact that all of these people were assaulted, because now the assault has been associated with femininity or weakness. Femininity because it's women, and even if it's men, now those men have been feminized, and so they all were asking for it. They were all there for the same reason the women were originally there, which was to be around this powerful man. And well, they became feminine around him because of his masculinity was so strong that all of these people that he assaulted became feminine. There is the misogyny. There's misogynoir on top of that, because when you start talking about how many of these people were probably black women or some type of woman of color, well, who cares? And who especially cares if it was a black man that was assaulted, because he's gay, and we know how you feel about the gays. It's giving all of the things that is happening in society in real time, and it's showing people how you can demonize and hate femininity, and you will associate anything that is weak or has been assaulted, or all of these things that he has done is just now been attached to, well, femininity. The men were feminine, that's why they got in that position. If they were masculine men, or they were not already like that, then they wouldn't have put themselves in the position just like those women. Because when a man gets to the level that they say, oh, he got treated like a woman, then he's no longer considered, he's no longer qualified, a part of that other dominance thing. He's over there with those women. So he deserved it. Probably was there because he also wanted to be around a man with a little power, a little money. He was impressed by Big Daddy. All of these men are impressed, but they think that they would be on the side with Diddy. They would be the assaulter, not the assaultee. And it's when you become the assaultee that you get the same labels applied to you that women get, and you get grouped in with a little bit misogyny, because nobody ever wants to be considered a strong man and also a victim, a strong man and also assaulted. The strong men are the assaulters. And that's how you can see how you start to apply the misogyny when this homophobia starts to come into play, because you feminize it. And we know how much straight heterosexual men hate femininity. Everything about femininity they hate. And I'm going to do a whole video just on that. So guys, I love to hear you guys in the comments. I'm going to go try and take my pictures now. And I look forward to talking to you. So ciao, ciao for now.